Hey, what's up guys? Thank you for tuning in. In today's video, we're going to be checking out the tech behind Devinci's brand new Bosch SX powered E-Troy Lite e-mountain bike. Stay tuned to learn all about it in this feature on loamwolf.com. Let's go. The E-Troy Lite is Devinci's first foray into the SL e-mountain bike market, and for this they've chosen to use the Bosch SX System, which they fitted to a 150mm rear travel with a 160mm front travel mixed wheel equipped frame. As with all of their alloy framed bikes, they make it in their facility in Quebec in Canada, and they use 6061 T6 aluminium to deliver an optimized strength and stiffness to weight ratio that they say makes this thing an absolute knockout in terms of its overall performance. The E-Troy Lite shares many of the similarities to their full-powered E-Troy in that it's got all of the features you'd expect to find on a premium frame, from internal cable routing that doesn't go through the headset, to double lip-sealed bearings made by Enduro, so super high quality. On the suspension pivots, you've got a universal derailleur hanger, meaning that you can fit the latest SRAM T-type transmission, and generous protection on that chainstay protector to keep things nice and quiet. Devinci also made sure that there's plenty of room inside that front triangle to fit a large water bottle on all frame sizes, or optionally use the Bosch PowerMore range extender to add some battery capacity to extend your rides. Devinci opted to equip the E-Troy Lite with Bosch's new SX lightweight motor system. This is a lightweight drive unit weighing in at just around 2 kilograms, delivering 55 newton meters of torque, but importantly 600 watts of peak power. That means if you're able to spin at a high cadence, you're able to get the same kind of power as you get out of their full power CX drive unit, but in that lighter weight package, which is really impressive. Powering the Bosch SX system on the E-Troy Lite is Bosch's compact tube 400 battery. This is a 400 watt-hour battery that's stored within the down tube of the frame and is not removable, at least easily, without dropping the motor, which allowed Devinci to optimize their frame structure and knock off an impressive 400 grams compared to having a removable battery in there. For riders looking to extend their rides, like I mentioned earlier, you can fit in their PowerMore 250 watt-hour range extender, meaning you boost the total capacity to 650 watt-hours, really extending the length of your rides. Integrated into the top tube of the E-Troy Lite is Bosch's LED display. This gives you a really easy to decipher readout of the battery percentage, as well as different colors to let you know what mode you've got selected. And then up on the handlebar, you've got their wireless mini remote, letting you easily toggle between different modes on the fly, as well as using their walk mode. Charging the system is Bosch's 4-amp smart charger. This lets you get up a 50% charge in just 90 minutes or a full charge in 3.5 hours, meaning if you stop for a quick lunch, you're able to quickly boost the range that you've got left. If you're wanting to tailor the system to your liking, you're able to use Bosch's Flow app to quickly connect to the bike to check out the battery percentage to the single percent, and also to fine-tune each of the modes to really deliver your kind of compromise of range and power. Devinci gave the E-Troy Lite an eMTB optimized version of their split pivot suspension design. This is a single pivot with a rocker link driving the upper mount of the shock, and then the rear axle is a concentric pivot, and this allows Devinci to separate the drivetrain forces and the braking forces from the suspension, giving you slightly better performance overall in their eyes. The eMTB optimized variety of this ensures that while you're pedaling, even with that motor assistance, you're still getting plenty of grip and comfort to that rear wheel, and it just means that you get the overall optimized performance for both up and down the hill. Devinci is offering the E-Troy Lite in a range of builds from the $5,499 NX build all the way up to the $7,399 GX Axis T-Type build. We were given the $6,399 GX build, offering an impressive bang for your buck with a really dialed component list, I would say. Suspension duties are handled by a Fox Performance Elite level 36 160mm travel fork up front and Flotex Performance Elite shock in the rear. Both of these offer low-speed compression adjustment. The fork, you get high-speed compression adjustment as well, and then there's low-speed rebound on both of them too to get your suspension dialed into your liking. The drivetrain is SRAM's dependable GX Mechanical 12-speed, and then there's also a set of SRAM Code Bronze brakes with a 220mm front rotor and 200mm in the back. The cockpit is an alloy raceface turbine bar and an alloy stem, and then the wheel set is also provided by Raceface with their alloy ARC 30 wheel set. And these are wrapped in a Maxxis tyre pairing with their Assegai EXO up front and the DHR2 EXO Plus in the rear. Rounding out the specs, and you've got SDG's dependable Tellus dropper, topped with their Bel Air Max eMTB saddle. Given that it's an all-mountain machine, Devinci wanted to create a very well-rounded machine for both up and down the hill, and so gave it a purposeful geometry package to match. Reaches grow just 20mm per size, so riders from 5'3" to 6'6" can find a size within the small to XL size range that's going to suit them without having to compromise on their overall fit on the bike. The size large that we've got here has a 481mm reach paired with a 626mm stack height. You get a 438mm chainstay across the size range, a 63.6 degree head tube angle, a 77.6 degree effective seat tube angle, and a 346mm bottom bracket height. This size large, all in all, totals a 1264mm wheelbase, putting it right about in the middle of the category.
How are we feeling?
Woo. So far so good, man. It's definitely early days, but it's feeling pretty good so far. I think overall it just feels dialed. $6,300 for this level of build, pretty damn impressive. Lifetime warranty on the frame too. It's yeah, so far proven to be an exciting machine. But I need to go to the Zen some more.
Let's get it.
So as with all of our tech check features, this is not intended to be a long-term review. You'll have to stay tuned for that coming to the channel in the coming months, where we'll be putting a lot more heart on the E-Troy Lite. But for now, I've had a first couple of rides, just putting the kind of first impressions on this bike while filming this feature for you. And it's safe to say I've had a huge amount of fun on the Devinci so far. Getting up the hill, the Bosch SX System is something worth talking about. It's a solid performer. It has a different feel to most of the SL motors in that up until, you know, about 80, 90 RPM, it's nothing special. It still only puts out 55 Newton meters of torque, which is kind of middle of the road for an SL system. But once you start going into higher cadences, you start to unlock the ability, if you're putting in a little bit of input force, input torque in your legs as well, to unlock 600 watts of peak power from the system, putting it in the same kind of category as your Bosch CX motor, your Shimano EP801, everything really in that full power space, but the motor only weighs 2 kilograms. And with the lighter battery, the 400 watt hour compact tube in there, it all adds up to a much lighter weight system overall, and makes for a very different and much more sprightly feeling ride. If you're in the lower power modes, you just get the same SL experience, the slightly lighter weight, the more agile handling, easier to kind of maneuver through technical climbing features. But then once you go up into the higher power modes, you can really get up some super steep stuff. You can go pretty fast up your average kind of climb, and you can just about hang on to full power e-bikes, especially if you've got a range extender on there to extend your battery life. And it's a really impressive system. It has plenty of kind of control in there. It doesn't just spin the rear wheel or yeah, just it lets you really input your force to the bike, get a natural kind of feeling assistance out of it. And it isn't necessarily the quietest system out there, but the noise that it does make is not kind of offensive. It's fairly easy noise to get along with, and definitely a system that overall I'm really impressed with. And then the geometry on the E-Troy Lite lets you put the power down on the Bosch SX motor fairly nicely. The seated position is middle of the road, kind of balancing steep terrain climbing performance with comfort on slightly flatter sections of climb. And then the overall platform in there, the suspension, kind of strikes a nice balance between being plenty firm enough that you don't just feel like you're bouncing and bobbing all over the place and wasting your energy, or the energy of the Bosch SX system, but also it's still comfortable enough and offers the rear wheel enough traction to let you get up some pretty slippery and technical climbs. So I think really in terms of the climbing performance of the E-Troy Lite, Devinci has done a killer job. Onto the descents, and the E-Troy Lite has so far proved to be a pretty damn fun machine, although I am definitely working on the setup still to get it properly balanced and just feeling to give it a nice compromise of yeah, composure through the rough stuff and still being nice and agile. One thing that this thing is ranking really highly on so far is agility. It feels nice and lightweight with plenty of support in that suspension platform. The rear end is nice and short, so popping up onto the back wheel and yeah, just wiggling yourself through some tighter sections of trail has proved to be no problem so far, and just offers a lot of fun. And the suspension platform feels to be nice and poppy and playful as well, giving me plenty of opportunity to pull up and have some fun on the trail. Like I say, this is early days on the bike. It definitely feels like a confident all-round, all-mountain machine. I'm not going to say exactly where its capabilities top out because I've not managed to find that limit yet. I've definitely tested my own limits so far and pushed the front wheel a couple of times in the sandy turns here in local trails, but yeah, otherwise it's safe to say this has proved to be a really fun machine so far, and I'm really excited to keep on riding it for its long-term review. So there we have it. That has been the Devinci E-Troy Lite, a bike that I've really enjoyed testing and one that I'm extremely excited to keep on riding for its long-term review coming in the coming months. A big thanks to Devinci for helping us put this tech check feature together. Give us a like if you've enjoyed it and leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of the Devinci E-Troy Lite. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you on the trails.